Hey, this is Pamela Schneider. I'm the retail editor for Blue Book Services, and this is the Produce Reporter Week in Review. It's fall. Pumpkin pie.
I've got the Aldi merch, so that's a little tip that we're going to talk about Aldi today.
It's also appropriate for if you were hanging out in the southeastern U.S., hunkering down for Hurricane Helene. It looks pretty yikes, but it does look like it's going to hook over away from a lot of the Florida growers.
Yeah, it's running through Florida, I guess kind of east of the Panhandle, and then by Friday morning we'll be in Georgia and spend a lot of the day in Georgia, and then up probably into Tennessee and Kentucky. But the key for our readers is what's that going to do to the crops? And they do expect a lot of rainfall, but not, I mean, the growers are well prepared. I did reach out to FFVA, and their communications person, Christina Morton, sent me a message and said, of course, it's too early to know as of Thursday, but growers are very well prepared. They've set up the drainage for the fields to drain. Um, they don't seem as concerned with it coming. Not that it won't be a big deal, but with enough time to prepare, I think they can get things in order. So it sounds like it won't be as disruptive as it could be. It's extremely disruptive to the baseball season because Atlanta's in the wild card chase. They had to cancel 2 games. And now my Kansas City Royals are going to be there this weekend with a bunch of rain. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I've got some friends in Western North Carolina, and it's coming up on apple season there for it's a very niche apple crop, but 10 to 15 inches of rain is significant. So
Yeah,
I
it's definitely a big deal, but also a big deal is a possible port strike.
so I have been watching this all week, trying to number one drum up some sources on it, and a lot of folks don't want to touch it. But the IFPA did send out a kind of a member alert to say, hey, here's all we're doing here. So what's going on is the International Longshoremen's Association has been in contract negotiations, which stalled this summer. And the contract is over September 30th, which is what, Monday, I believe. And as of October 1st, they're going on strike. And that's ports across the Northeast and including Houston, so a Gulf port as well. And so what the media is taking this and going, it's going to be Bananageddon, because none of the bananas are going to get West Coast bananas. It doesn't appear to be West Coast related, although there may be some solidarity going on with that. Who knows? But then today, the latest that I'm seeing is that they're optimistic that it'll only be a couple of days but who knows how much will back up in a couple of days, and anything perishable on those ships is gonna be iffy. So we're keeping an eye on it. The IFPA has sent some letters to the President Biden and to ag letter on East and West and Gulf Coast port operations. So everyone's watching it right now and hoping for basically an 11th hour deal to come through. But so far, no luck. And people are getting a little uneasy about it. I don't know about Bananageddon, though.
If it's only a couple days, those bananas stay green for a while until they purposefully are ripened.
Yeah, I'd be more worried about, other stuff like blueberries, or what, are we coming up on that? Avocados? Are there any avocados coming from? I don't think any. No, I think we're all pretty much Mexican right now. I'd have to take a look at that. But
There's some from Peru,
yeah, so
but
those are
they
the
could also
things.
come west, possibly. I mean, they probably go west
Yeah,
most of
those
the
are.
way.
Yeah, I can't even imagine those would come into like Houston, would they? But yeah, something to definitely keep an eye on. It has been a contentious issue all summer, and this is just going to have to come to a head. Remember when the rail thing was like rail Armageddon? Was that last summer? And there was an 11th hour deal that they managed to avoid the rail complete shutdown. The Canadian rail thing, government stepped in on that one. So we'll see what happens on this, but I'm not entirely sure that it would be Bananageddon. I don't know.
there's plenty of time to panic later.
Let's panic when it's actually shut down. I'm sure that people that have more power and are smarter about this are working hard to try to make sure this doesn't happen.
Even more concerning is that October starts next Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah, where did September go? Because yeah, this has been insane.
I got my money's worth out of summer, but September was pretty fast.
Yeah. We had another study that I thought was really interesting from the National Association of Convenience Stores and Acosta Group. And they have a freshly prepared foods shopper insight study. That is a mouthful, but they're talking about who is buying fresh foods at convenience stores. And my immediate knee-jerk Texas reaction is, well, Buc-ee's. Because I mean, if you go into a Buc-ee's, you're buying fresh food. Whether it be fresh brisket or amazing cantaloupe cups or salad when you are weary from a long road trip and decided that you cannot eat any more French fries. Buc-ee's is there to save you. But there were a lot of really interesting data points from this.
Yeah, non-Texans have their own, not versions of Buc-ee's, but high quality convenience store options, whether it's Wawa or QT in the Midwest. I mean, we have famous Casey's Pizza where I live. Come on.
Yeah, your famous Casey's Pizza's coming down here too with their recent acquisition. But what I thought was really interesting about this study and the whole idea of this is the idea of fresh foods at convenience stores. It's no longer just a slushie and a bag of corn nuts and moving along on your road trip. They have some data points about who their shopper is, who's buying fresh prepared C-store stuff. Median age of 41. And so these shoppers are 10 years younger than those not shopping for fresh prepared foods. So it's younger people that are buying the fresh foods. Let's see.
62% have children at home, which means that possibly, it doesn't say this explicitly, but maybe people used to go through a fast food drive-through, and with costs exploding and the health options being pretty weak, you can get healthier stuff at a C-store and it's probably higher quality and it's not significantly more expensive.
I mean, we've got a whole slew of new QTs here in the Austin area, and all of them have this signature kitchen thing going on inside where you can get a sandwich or a pizza or something like that, or the delicious and very affordable ice cream for Friday Fun Day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then there was one thing that you also pointed out that 82% of millennials and 60% of Gen Zs are members of C-store loyalty programs. And the Gen Z one is really interesting to me as, we have Gen Z kids. My kids love convenience stores. They love to go to QT. They love to go to Circle K or whatever. And my younger one wants to go to 7-Eleven, and I had to join their loyalty program to get the exclusive price on the 7-Eleven exclusive flavor of Gatorade. So they are all about it because they're getting stuff, tangible stuff from those loyalty programs. So that's an interesting data point, and that's also showing you that younger consumers are liking convenience stores.
Well, they're also not buying food for a household. They're
Yeah.
buying food for themselves,
Yep.
and convenience stores are conveniently located so that kids can go buy them pretty easily. I mean, I live a 5-minute walk from a QT, and we
Yeah,
used
I
to
mean,
take the kids there for ice cream all the time.
my kids, my older son just turned 16 and just got his driver's license. But before that, he and his buddies would like, hey, can we go walk to the corner store? And it was a hike. He would, because they have to go all the way out of the neighborhood. So it would take them 15, 20 minutes to get there, but they were totally about it. And they did that at least 2 years where they would, not bug me to go take them, but they were going on their own. So I think as these stores are having more success with fresh foods, we're going to see it more often. And I think that's all good, all good.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity for fresh produce. And fresh produce really tried to break into QSRs, and they had some mild success, but it's kind of waning. And this is a much bigger opportunity because you do see fresh produce in C stores. Any C store that does fresh foods well has fresh produce.
Yeah, and the key part of that is the ones that do it well. I would say Quick Trip's fresh prepared counter does it well. Wawa, I mean, the sandwiches at Wawa are famous. Bucky's does it really well, but I've seen plenty of sad baskets of red delicious apples and rotten bananas next to a cashier. I'm like, why are these even here?
Those are not
Um,
doing it well. Those are checking a box.
yeah, that
They're
that
not
or
trying to.
the shriveled up limes next to the beer case. Yeah, nobody's buying that. Nobody cares. So the ones that do it well set a really good precedent and are definitely, if we can form some best practices for the entire industry out of that, that would be fantastic.
Agree.
All right. Last part of this week's week in review is something fun we had to do based on Aldi. Aldi is our fan favorites. Aldi is a favorite here, but we talked about what our favorites are at Aldi, and we are very different Aldi shoppers. So what are your couple of your favorites?
This whole started because we looked at the 13 items on the Aldi list, and there are a couple items on there that I do buy regularly.
Mhm.
Some of their meat, like their pot roast stuff, when it gets cold, that stuff is perfect for crock pots. I'm really surprised the organic grass-fed beef in like the 1 pound packs. That's $5, and that is very high quality meat at that Aldi. I buy that every single time I'm in there. Like that is a staple. And but yeah, I mean some of the charcuterie stuff is just simply amazing for, I mean, it's a value grocery store, but because of their German connection, they have some of this high value stuff. Like I put on there the dry sliced salami. It is expensive. It's almost $9 for a 16-ounce pack. But I buy that at least once a month, and I swear it lasts like 3 weeks because you just don't need to put that many of them on a cracker or a sandwich because I mean it's really good. The salmon was on their favorites list, and I have to totally agree. Their salmon is a great value and every bit is high quality. We have to talk about fruits and vegetables.
Right.
Trader Joe's did so well with their little bagged avocado, mini avocados, but Aldi has that too, and I buy it almost every time I'm there. And it's not store brand. It's it's usually a I mean a well-known brand of avocado. Like this week it was Clavo when we got it, and it's not expensive. It was just over $3 for a 6 count. I did highlight the grapes because as a shopper, I've noticed at other stores, grape prices, it seems like wholesale prices are not up that much, but grocers are using that to boost their bottom line. And so I frequently see nothing below $2.99 a pound for grapes. And Aldi almost always has something below $1.49 a pound. Now, sometimes they will be smaller. They certainly are not brand name varieties, although they do have cotton candy in there. Um, but at at that little price for grapes, I'm buying it every time it's in season. It's almost always in season. And then their lettuce is high quality and cheap. You just got to make sure you buy it in the refrigerated section because sometimes they put it out on the floor, and I do not recommend that. It's still okay. It's not going to last as long. And they have a habit of doing that with their promos too. And a
Hmm.
lot of times it's berries. And I really don't like seeing that. I don't think they're selling it fast enough to justify keeping it out of refrigeration. So those are some of my tips on what I get. Oh, of course, I have to mention the red bag chicken.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That
I love
is,
red
and
bag
the
chicken.
brioche buns. I used to get bakery buns at the grocery store whenever we had like cookouts. Everyone would be like, "Your buns are amazing." I was like, "You just go to the bakery instead of buying the $1.50 pack. Like it's not, it costs twice as much, but it's more than twice as good." So Aldi has these brioche buns that are like $4 for a 6 pack. So that is pricey, but they are amazing.
I buy
I
the
mean,
brioche
they've
hot dog
got to be the
buns.
same ones that are at the grocery or at restaurants. They must be
Yeah.
buying them whole.
So I took your list and I just happened to be out, and the Aldi that is closest to me is near the last postal pickup, and I had to get something in the mail, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna see what Greg buys and compare it to what I normally buy. I've already done my grocery shopping this week. But the funny thing is that you mentioned the granola. I usually buy that granola. A lot of the stuff I'm like, yeah, yeah, I buy that too. I buy that too. But I have already done my grocery shopping, and I went in there with like an eye for what I really like here. And one of the favorites was the bell peppers, and I bought them, and they are an Aldi brand. And the funny thing is, I had just bought them at Costco, and I quit buying them at Costco because they got so expensive. But this week it was just like, okay, fine. Um, Aldi, we usually say the specs aren't quite as good, and I'm not gonna reveal who the national brand is for mine, but this is the national brand I bought at Costco, and this is the one at Aldi.
That
Like,
Aldi looks bigger.
it's bigger, the walls are thicker, it looks a lot nicer.
Well, the yellow
So,
one's smaller.
well, yeah, but the yellow one's smaller. Well, here's my yellow one from my national brand. I mean, that one's
That's pretty close.
pretty close, about the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, this is a pretty good deal. The red one, I already ate one of the red ones from the national one. Um, so I'm gonna the walls definitely feel thicker. These feel heavier. So
It is
I
a
thought that was really
great
interesting.
value. And it's 390 or 299, right?
Right, it's $2.99, and I normally buy the stoplight pack at HEB for like 368 or something like that. So when that's cheaper, that's always a great idea. I skipped avocados at Aldi because I was like, oh, HEB is gonna be cheaper, and they weren't. I was mad. I stopped buying them at Costco right now because they're so expensive. The thing that gets me at Aldi though is like when people joke about going to Costco and they kind of black out and walk out of there with $400 worth of stuff. I don't do that at Costco because I live so close to Costco. I don't live near Aldi. It's like it's an adventure. When I see the Neuschwanstein, the castle on
Oh
here,
yeah. Yeah.
I black out and I
So how
just,
do you pronounce that brand?
oh, Deutsche Kuka.
Deutsche Kuka. Okay. That brand is awesome. They have the best sauerkraut that you can buy in this country.
Yes, they do. And I bought the red one with the apples in it. I bought that one. I bought the schnitzel out of the freezer. It's Oktoberfest, right? So I got the frozen potatoes, the frozen cabbage that had Romanesco. It had Romanesco in the frozen cabbage blend. And you just like, we had it for dinner last night. It was amazing. It gave me my fix of German food that I'm not going to be getting for who knows how long. But the other thing, the charcuterie, the
Oh yeah.
salumi picante thing, I mean, this was like $6. This at Central Market would be $12. And this is shelf stable. I mean, how long is that gonna last? And what really, really got me was the Appenzeller cheese. I've been to this factory. It's Aldi, seriously. So I walk out of there and I spend very rarely less than $100 at Aldi, but my whole cart is full of fancy meats and cheeses and a bag of chicken and that kind of stuff. So for me, it's the adventure of shopping there. It's not the value of shopping there. If it was closer to me, then of course I would be buying like more mainstay like potatoes and whatever. But some of the stuff that I regularly buy at HEB was not cheaper at Aldi. HEB is such a value oriented retailer that you mentioned Hearts of Romaine are $2.99 at HEB at every single day. So I'm used to super low cost regular store. But then all of the little like fancy things that I like to buy, this cheese is like $22 a pound at HEB, and it was $5 at Aldi.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I can't compete
So
with that.
our viewers who are going to buy stuff for a charcuterie for upcoming holidays, get it at Aldi.
Yes, they have an entire end cap that's just charcuterie. I stood next to this lady yesterday or the day before, whenever I was there, and we're like looking at this stuff, and I'm like, do I need any of this? And she's like, I don't need any of it either. But I'm like, but I could have it in the cabinet. And I've I've literally thrown together a meat and cheese board to like when I've had friends over where it was like, oh, let's have something to eat. Bam, I've got all this stuff from Aldi.
Perfect.
And it's right there. And all you got to do is like throw some grapes or an apple, like I'm gonna eat here with my Appenzeller.
Well, it's
Um,
pear season, so I recommend that as
oh yeah,
well.
pears as well. But you know what? HEB has a deal where they like almost every week they've got a different fancy apple for 97 cents a pound. These are sweet tangos. So sweet tangos for 97 cents a pound. I can't beat that at Aldi.
No,
So
they don't.
later in the
I
season
can't
when it's
recall
cheaper.
sweet tangos there. They do have Cosmic Crisp every time. So
Yeah.
they do have some high-end apples.
Yeah. But those Cosmic Crisps, they don't release until December. So those are definitely last year's. Although I find that they eat just as good.
I think they were in there when last time I was
Yeah,
there. So yeah, I guess they
they were
must be
definitely
over.
there. They are a 12-month apple now. They really hit the market with the way that we're digressing. But yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to spend at Aldi, it's got something for everyone. And we're not like we're not paid by Aldi to promote them, but there's a reason that they are expanding so rapidly, especially as consumers are still wanting to eat like this, but maybe can't afford to go. I went to the cheesemonger here in Austin, like a freestanding cheese shop, and tried to buy this, and it was like $35 a pound. Like I can't handle that, but I still want my fancy cheese. So I can just find it at Aldi, I guess.
There you go.
All right, well, that's it for the Produce Reporter Week in Review. If you are not getting the Produce Reporter newsletter, you need to go to producebluebook.com and sign up.
Stay dry, folks.
Yeah. Your Aldi swag. I should have bought one for myself.